Hey everybody, Batmerk here. Today I'm going to be reviewing Bass Reeves. It's season one, episode one. It's the first issue basically, and it's a book I crowdfunded. It's a Comicsgate book by Allegiance, and yeah, this is a Founders Edition. So I basically got the special edition. It's pretty awesome. It's nice to read a western. They're not really that popular in the mainstream anymore. And they're really cool. They kind of they're basically like post-apocalyptic stories without zombies, and it's just people out in the West, and and trying to survive and having to deal with like Indians and just crazy like cowboys and all kinds of stuff. This guy right here, Bass Reeves, he was actually a real marshal. I just kind of learned about him maybe about a year ago or less, and I found out this book was announced, and I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. Like I watched a video on him on YouTube, and all these different cowboys from history, like from television and comics and movies and books and cartoons, they're all like inspired by him, and he didn't really get that much recognition. But yeah, this is the book right here. It's kind of getting into it. Here's a team right here. There's a writer, Kevin Graveau. Artist David Williams, colorist Kelsey Shannon. He's awesome. The writer, I think he's the creator of Underworld too, which is one of my favorite film franchises. Covers Dave Williams. Kelsey Shannon is another superstar artist at Comicsgate. Mitch Breitweiser's head master design. Eric Weathers, the superstar letterer, Comicsgate. And Hernan Octavio is the color flatter. We got editor Patrick Stiles, and design and layout by Chris Kendrick. Basically, we start up the story, and it's in the Indian Territory, 1875, and we have this. Basically, it looks like this marshal. He's trying to take on like a gang of bandits, and he just can't really handle it. You're still there, Marshal? You come? Whoop! Blam! He just gets kind of blasted, and we basically have these these U.S. Marshals trying to set up a town, where there's more marshals, and they just keep getting taken out by all these different outlaws and bandits and banditos, and yeah, it's just like that was what was going on back then. It was a rough time, and they're trying to hire like a new they need a new lawman, that could get the job done. So there brings us to this section right here. It's Louisiana, the Bayou. And we have these outlaws right here. They're talking, how's the bag? Almost $300. Who says bootlegging doesn't pay? Not one. No one says it doesn't pay. Still, if you want to make the big greenbacks, you got to take big risks, and that ain't easy these days. What are you talking about? Should I tell him, Brett? Tell him. Though that young fool ain't gonna believe us. Believe what? Old Bass. Old who? Bass Reeves. Old Bass, they call him. A bounty man. Caught more men than frogs catch flies. Then we'll just have to skin one like him. Good luck. Heard he's 9 feet tall, coal black, and rides a horse that's ghost white. Now, I also heard, side note, that Bass Reeves, he was like the main inspiration for the Lone Ranger. So, and he carries these guns, black guns that look more than like cannons and triggers. It's pretty cool. They show these big old guns right here, and they're just basically talking about the legend about him. And he pops up and takes him out, and they're doing this little they're talking right there. I even heard there was this bull that got stuck in the mud. Old Bass took off his shirt, got in the mud, and put the bull on his shoulders and lifted him back onto dry land. You're lying. No, sir. True story. They say you hear him. You hear the whistling. That's Old Bass coming for you. Shh, quiet. What's that? What's what? That noise. I don't hear anything. Listen. It sounds like singing. It's him. It's Old Bass. I told you I don't hear any. And then you hear, light of the world, he beckons to me. Where is he? Holy Springs calling. I'm down on my knees. And it's right there behind him. So he pretty much, yeah, he takes these dudes out. It's pretty awesome. And then it shows him like in a court, and there's this, they're about to prosecute this, this Indian and for bootlegging. And he's like, oh well, I'm sorry, this guy doesn't speak English. He's an Indian. He doesn't speak any English. And then Bass Reeves comes up. He's like, no, he's fucking Mexican, and he always plays that he's like he's a Native American Indian, and he's Mexican. He's bootlegging. We've been trying to catch him for a while, but no, he's a fucking liar. Arrest him, So we have Bass right here. He's at Fort Smith, Arkansas. 2 weeks later, he's working on some iron work out in his shed, and basically he's got a son right here, and he's trying to instill in him like higher education. He doesn't want him to fall into like bad ways of the Wild West. He wants him to be an educated man. He doesn't want him to be running around shooting guns, and I'm sure he doesn't want him to be a bounty hunter or even a bank robber or an outlaw, or he doesn't want him to be a marshal. He wants him to be a smart guy. He wants the best for his kids. And his wife's basically complaining to him about that, and they offered him a job as a U.S. Marshal because they just know he's fit for the job, and he just turned it down because he wants to stay home and raise his son right. And so basically he takes his son. He basically takes his son into town and into the basically takes him into the like the general store, and they witness like a shootout, and the son's just like, wow, that's awesome, Dad. He's like, look at the way that guy shot. And he's like, no, son, listen here. You don't want to shoot guns. You don't want to, you don't want to grow up like that. And he's trying to steer his son away from basically, a bad element. But that kind of that bad element of the whole like gunfight in the street and what have you, it inspired him to say, what, I'm gonna take up the mantle as U.S. Marshal. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna basically I'm gonna clean up the West. Would have been cool if they put the guns in his hands right there, because this is like this epic like part where he becomes the marshal. That would have been pretty sweet if he had the guns just chilling in his hands. But yeah, so there's that. And they have this scene right here. It's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil too much of that, but it's a nice little scene at the end. And this right here is a real Bass Reeves, and it's the man, the myth, the legend. Just a little bit about him right here. Reeves spent nearly 20 years in his role as the first black U.S. Marshal to serve west of the Mississippi. By the time he retired in 1909, after some 32 years in law enforcement, he laid claim to apprehending more than 3,000 fugitives, facing down some of the most dangerous criminals in America has ever known. He was an exemplary lawman, hailed for his marksmanship, his detective skills, and his unwavering moral codes that, in one particularly dark and telling chapter, even saw him arrest his own son for murder. So, like right here, you could tell in the story they're building up that whole like conflict that's going to happen between, he's probably going to have to arrest his son. His son's looking at the guns, and he's finding it, and he's attracted to it, you know what I mean? And he doesn't want that for his son. He wants his son to be, to be better than that, but it's going to happen. And yeah, here's like the next issue. It looks pretty cool. I'm definitely going to check it out. I definitely give this book two horns way up. Check it out. These books are going to be, they're the first Comicsgate books that are going to be sold in Walmart, and actually even just comics in general. They're going to be hitting Walmart stores pretty soon. You could check online about just info on when the books are going to hit more. You can go to allegiancearts.com. Yeah, and this is an awesome book. It's a fun book. It's a retelling of history. It's cool to learn about it. There's also this when I learned about Bass Reeves, it was this channel I watched called BioGraphics. It's a YouTube channel. It's fucking awesome. They have like all kinds of different biographies on people. I'll be drawing or writing or something. I'll put that on in the background, and they got like Leonardo of Sparta, I think, to freaking Elon Musk and everybody in between. So you can check that out. Also, if you're into westerns, I got my book right here. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little shameless shill of my book. That's coming out. It's Butch CLEAVER. It's a supernatural horror western. It's a gothic horror western, and it takes place in like a fictional town, like this gothic style town I created called Oubliette, and it has this character named Butch Cleaver. He's a brutal, like, psychotic butcher that gets killed, and he's brought back to life by a voodoo hex, and it gives him the power to weaponize bone on a molecular level. So, you know, he makes bone 6-shooters, saws, cleavers, butcher knives, chef knives, whatever you think of, you know. And yeah, this is it right here, just the town in the background, and you know, he grew up in a slaughterhouse, and basically he was murdered, and he's trying to figure out who murdered him. That's like the whole point of the story, the beginning story, and you know, he's trying to get a little bit of payback too, you know, because it's psychopath. And you know, here's a little more, maybe a little more art for the book. It's him with his bone 6-shooter and his cleaver. That's him and his bull Tor. And this is him right here when he basically wakes up from being resurrected. He's in this this like bone cocoon. And yeah, that's it right there. If you guys want to check it out, it's on Indiegogo right now, and I'm basically in my pre-campaign mode right now. And you know, if you can sign up if you want, you'll get all the info on the book. And yeah, as always, folks, if you like you know, if you like metal, you like movies, you like brewskis, you like comics, stop on by this channel. We get daily content here on metal, movies, and brewskis. Have a great day, folks. Thanks.